I knew what you're about to find out. I knew the guy's heart and his soul instantly. So, without further ado, I want to bring out for you right now, Mr. Daley, the Monster Motivator.
Everyone stand up. This ain't the NFL. Stand up. Let's give Matty and his whole crew a big round of applause. And my big is probably different than your big. So let's hear it on three. 1, 2, 3. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Before you sit down, I'm a big believer that the outside shows us what the inside is all about. So we got something here that a few people know what I'm talking about. Big Rob, a man right here. It's called the Monster Motivator Roar. Okay? There's a little bit behind this. See, life makes the rules, and we're going to talk about that. And life asks the questions. And life is asking you right now, you want to purr like a kid or roar like a lion? What? Lion. What? Lion. On 3. The sound is just as important as the pose. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Face somebody to your left. 1, 2, 3. Manny forgot to mention one thing when he introduced me. I come with a warning label. Okay, I live my life this way. Real, raw, and live. So, I'm not always G-rated, because that's not who I am. So if you're offended by things that aren't G-rated, I'm not your guy. If you can get past that, we're good to go. The other thing I'm going to ask is I'm investing the most important commodity I have with you, which is my time. And you're doing the same with me. So make no mistake, this hour is a team. Get it? Woo! Get it? Okay? So if I have to check and pass out mirrors to find out if you have a pulse, ain't going to work. Okay? So I just want to lay those ground rules. To give a little background of who I am and why do you even want to sit here. I'm going to speak on the real shit. I'm going to speak from my real experience. Take what works, throw out the rest. I'm no guru. I'm no special guy. I'm just going through this journey just like you. I'm going to share with you what's worked for me and what hasn't. Let me give you a little background. Now, believe it or not, I tell people I'm from Encinitas, but they don't believe it. Is there anybody that doesn't know where Encinitas is? All right, I believe, Manny, I'm not sure if this is right, but I think it's the Birkenstock capital of the world. That could be it. So I stick out like a sore thumb. You think I stick out like a sore thumb here? And in the corporate world, you got to see it over there. This guy's from Mars. Give you a little background on myself. I'm from the East Coast.
Yes.
East Coast in the house. Best food in the world. Born in a town outside of Philly called Norristown, the hometown of Tommy Lasorda and Mike Piazza. Let me just preface my background, where I came from and where I'm at today, is if anybody tells you that the start isn't more important than the finish, they're full of shit. The first 18 months of my life, I was in an orphanage in Philly. I was blessed beyond belief, be adopted by two amazing people. We're going to bring this back around, and you're going to get behind the black curtain of those two amazing people. So, man, give me a heads up. We got 15 minutes left. Thank you, my man. Left back in 2nd grade, diagnosed with ADD. Said I had a learning disorder. Never graduated high school. And at 19, sitting in a jail cell, looking at 8 to 10, if things don't go my way. Now, when we have time for Q&A, when I do longer keynotes, 90 minutes, the first question, right, I get the elephant right out of the room. Everyone here that hasn't heard me speak before, who's in jail? What? Let me give you a little bit of a quick overview. What it was is, first, I'm a kid from Jersey, grew up in Jersey, grew up at the Jersey Shore. And just so you guys, in case you guys don't know, my crew was the original Jersey Shore. They ripped us off. So I'm down at the Jersey Shore with my boys. We get into a scuffle. The other guys get the raw end of the deal, and he happened to be an off-duty cop in that town. So when I say, if things didn't go our way, we'd be looking at my life would be in a whole different direction. The only thing that saved us is they were drinking and driving, we were walking, they pulled over and they approached us. That's it. And we still had to do 15 weekends. That's it. So, get that elephant out of the room. But I'm a firm believer that your start is not nearly as important as your finish. And there is so many different types of intelligence. And if you think that it's just one direction, you're sadly mistaken, and you're wasting a lot of time and a lot of energy being on this earth. Got it? Got it?
Yeah.
So I speak on two things I'm going to speak on today. Fear barriers. And life is perception. We're going to come back to perception. Fear barriers. Let's get something real clear. If you can wrap your mind around this concept, you're going to start to win now. Fearless is bullshit. Fearless is bullshit. Let me explain. Let me go a little bit deeper into that. I was brought up and raised in an area as a man, as a boy, if you showed weakness, if you showed fear, there was something wrong with you. You understand? You had to be a man almost from day one. You had to prove yourself almost from day one. But as I got older, as I started to experience real life, real world, I realized something. That's bullshit. See, fear is the same feeling as love. It's the same feeling as anger. And you have two options. Remember when we said life makes the rules? Remember? Fear can be your heaviest anchor or your strongest propeller. You decide. And life, let me give you a little bit of, now let me explain to you what I mean by life. I don't care if you call it God. I don't care if you call it the universe. Quite honestly, I don't care if you call it peanut butter. I call it life. And it's all about energy. And the other thing I love about talking about energy, when you look at a guy like me, you'd never think, right? Is quantum physics backs me up. We're living in this energy field. And life always gives you two options at the minimum. And you can take this, or you can take that. Either way, life says your results are going to show, good or bad. And I got some breaking news for you guys. You ready? What? Yeah. You ready? I got breaking news for everybody in this room. Life don't give a shit. Life don't care if you want to play the victim. If you want to play the victim, life says, here's your results. Swim in them. But you always have the opportunity to get out of that victim mode. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we can talk about, I can list fear after fear after fear. The fear of the unknown. the fear of the darkness, the fear of success, the fear of failure. We can go on and on and on. And let me back up a second. The reason I speak on fear barriers is, how many people here are business owners? Okay. How many people here are looking to start their own business? How many people here work for somebody? Doesn't matter. Guess what? Fear barriers relate to every person in this room, no matter where you are and where you decide to go. And here's what I talk about fear barriers. Ready? It's the biggest bully that we know. Right? Fear barriers. See, the darkness is only temporary. As long as you keep moving forward. The only time it becomes permanent is when you go back into safety. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So because now we know that fear barriers are the biggest bully on the block, here's what I want to do. I want to teach you how to get your lunch money back from that bully. Get it? So, all those fears that I listed, I believe, I don't care who you are, I don't care where you came from, I don't care what color you are, I don't care what language you speak. Master two fears. When you can conquer these two fears, you've got the golden key in life. You want to know what they are?
Yep.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
The fear of change? Man. Huh? I'm getting somewhere now. And the fear. You ready? You ready for the granddaddy of them all? You ready?
Yep.
Yeah. You ready? Yes! The fear of what other people think. Huh. How about that? I see some heads down. I see some, oh shit. How does he know me? Okay? But I'm going to share with you how to conquer those fears and make them your strongest propeller. The fear of change. You ready for this concept? Wrap your brain around this, own this, and you become fucking bulletproof in life. You ready? The fear of change. Guess what? Remember when I said life don't care? Guess what? That evolution train is leaving with or without you. Life says you have a decision. Are you going to jump on, or is it going to run you over? How many people saw 2 days ago on Facebook, Toys R Us are bankrupt? You understand? They're bankrupt because they didn't embrace the change. They didn't see and forecast with all their money, right? They thought they were too big. And I just got more breaking news for you. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how much power you think you have. Change will drop you to your knees if you don't embrace it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now the big one. Big one. The fear of what other people think. Now I do corporate keynotes. Oh, fuck, look at me. Huh? I do corporate keynotes. I walked into a keynote last year in La Jolla, and I thought my assistant was with me. She was sweating. She was like, holy shit. And they were looking at me, and I introduced myself, and it just happened to work out that the event planner had to fly out to Texas the day before, so his partner was running it and never met me. So when I introduced myself, they're all in suit and ties and all corporate. I walk in, I said, I'm Dave Daley, Monster Motivator. So let me just circle this. If I had to pick one thing that I speak about that I want to relay to you, if there's anything that I can do to help you change this or build on this, it's this. Everything that I talk about maps to one thing. Your self-image. Your self-image. You can build it up, you can tear it down, but you cannot outperform it. That's some deep shit. Let me repeat that. You can build it up, you can tear it down, but you cannot outperform it. So here's one thing I'm going to say. I don't have kids. But for all you parents out there and you grandparents, the greatest gift you could give any child is a powerful, bulletproof image because you're going to teach them to fish instead of someone fishing for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're going to go a little bit further into this fear barrier thing. We're going to beat the shit out of this bully. You ready? It's called the Bully Buster. It's a 4-step process. See, I believe that there's formulas that we live by, whether we're conscious of it or not. And there's 2 trifectas that we all live by, whether we realize it or not. And they map to our results, good or bad. Thoughts, feelings, actions create results. Your thoughts create your feelings create your actions create your results. Here's another big believer of mine. I'm called the Monster Motivator. Now, I know there's a lot of gurus and speakers out there that say motivation is bullshit and it's a lot of hype. And here's what I have to say to them. Well, where do you start? What's going to get you up in the morning? How do you get the starting blocks without motivation? How? Tell me how. And I'll change my name. Tell me how. Here's the punchline to this. Motivation takes you so far unless you tie it in with inspiration. And neither one work without perspiration. Get it? Come on. If you didn't know by now, I'm not shy. So feel free. And I have some more breaking news for you guys real quick. You see who I am. And you heard Manny. But please, don't let that get out. It's going to screw up my image. Don't let anybody know. Please, live streamers, don't let anybody know that I'm a big teddy bear. But I live my life this way. And I suggest you do the same. Don't ever mistake kindness for weakness. Woo! Yeah. And if you do that, we're good. So, motivation, inspiration, perspiration. You got to get something that's going to get you up in the morning, get you starting blocks. Now you need something, right? Motivation comes from the outside. Inspiration comes from here. Inspiration comes from here. So now when that motivation starts to wean off, the inspiration picks it back up and carries it through. But here's where the law of attraction got twisted and turned by people that just wanted attention because they knew better. The law of attraction, the secret, never said that all you do is sit there and wait. But there was a lot of people that built a brand on trying to get that attention. And I get it. You want that wow factor. But you're not being accurate. If you actually think that that's what the secret said, I feel sorry for you. Because you're not nearly as intelligent as we gave you credit for. So let's get that out of the way. Okay? But here's the deal. Neither one of those work without perspiration. And that's the real. Now, interesting about that trifecta, if you do it in reverse, guilty of plenty of times. You take all this action, you perspire like a son of a bitch, okay? But you have no direction. See, it has to work in this order. It has to motivate you something from the outside, right? Which is your why. Which now ties in with your inspiration, right? I'm sorry, your motivation is your destination. Inspiration is your why, because it's coming from here. And now it carries you through with perspiration. So when you work in that trifecta, you will win. Because you have direction, you have heart, and now you have sweat. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we talked about fear barriers. So I wrote an ebook a while back. Gosh, I wrote the cover. You guys never thought the Monster Motivator wrote this book. It's called The Monster Under the Bed. Okay, here's the concept of this. You're 10 years old. You're in your room, the lights are out, it's pitch dark. You're under the covers, and you hear this sound. And you know for sure it's a big green hairy monster ready to come out and eat you. How many have been there? Woo! I mean, I was there just last week. So I know you all were there. Until an adult comes in turns on the lights, you look under the bed, and what is it? What is it?
Nothing.
What is it?
Nothing.
Are we a team or not?
Nothing.
So, fear barriers are a real feeling, but it all depends on your perspective, your perception, of whether or not it's your strongest development or your heaviest anger. I'm going to leave you. I'm going to also not leave here today without giving you practical steps. And again, everything I share with you, take what works, throw out the rest. I'm just giving you real world shit that's working in my life. It's called the bully buster. It's a 4-step process. You ready? Ready? Yeah! Bully buster. And this is going to sound real familiar. Because life is very simple, it's not always easy. First step is identifying your goal, your destination. Where are you going? Where do you want to be? Who's that person you want to become? Right? Sound a little bit like motivation on the outside. Next step. What is your why? What is your why? Sound a little more familiar? Inspiration. Third step, believe it or not, action. Now here's the kicker to action. People yell action, take action, take action, take action. I say take massive, effective action. Big difference. Fourth step. Ready? Ready? Ready. Your self-talk. What are you telling yourself on a daily basis? Is it moving you forward or is it moving you back? And here's what I promise everybody out there and in here. Unless you understand how to utilize powerful, positive self-talk on a consistent basis, I promise you that the majority of your day is going to be depleting, it's going to be weakening, it's going to be moving you backwards. I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I'm not smart enough, I didn't graduate, I don't have a diploma, I don't have this, nobody wants to talk to me, blah, 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 right? Over and over and over again. But you can change that. One of the books that changed my life about 12 years ago, my mentor referred it to me, Dr. Shad Helmstetter. What to say when you talk to yourself. Pick it up. This is how powerful self-talk is and conditioning and subconscious. So this was the kicker to me for this book. Dr. Shad Helmstetter wrote this book back in the 80s. Okay? He understood how powerful positive self-talk is. But when he shared this story, it took it to another level. So his goal was he wanted to lose 60 pounds in 90 days. So he wrote down an affirmation, and he shares with you and teaches you how to actually write it down, and he gives you examples. Now, this was the 80s. Now, how many people remember cassette recorders? I don't, but I'm just... and he recorded an affirmation in his own voice, and he listened to it every morning when him and his wife were getting ready for work, somewhere during the day, and then every night before he went to bed for those 90 days, 60 days, 90, 61. He lost the weight. He hit the goal. Are you ready? Here's what gets even. His wife lost 25 pounds. Never went on the diet. Never changed her lifestyle. Conditioning, subconscious. And if you're not sure about that, I got the ultimate back on business, health, and everything's energy. Everything is energy. So let's go back around to this bully buster. Goals, destination. You need to have a direction, or else you're just going to be a buoy in the ocean, and you're going to let the ocean and the waves take you where they want to take you instead of you dictating. And I got news for you too. We have limited time, very, very limited time. So who wants to be a buoy? Not me. Second, right? Identifying something that really means something to you. Get your juices flowing. don't do that, and you don't want to do that, I have one simple question. Why are you here? And why are you taking up room that want that? Get it? Get it?
Yeah.
Because we have one bite of this apple that I'm aware of. Okay? And even if you live a full life in your 90s, hundreds, it's over like that. If you don't believe me, how many people have not reached their 2017 New Year's resolutions? We're almost done. We're almost done. That's how quick this ride is. So if you don't want to find what gets your juices flowing, get out of the way. There's just plenty of people that do. Get it?
Yeah.
Action. Massive effective action. Here's what I love about it. I love massive effective action so much that I have bookmarkers made massive effective action because it becomes magical. It becomes magical. When you take that massive effective action, the people and the circumstances come into your life to make it happen. I promise you, when you look back in your life and you took that massive effective action and you didn't know where that light was, I promise you this, when you look back, the greatest Hollywood screenwriters couldn't write the shit that happened to you to make it happen. Yay or nay? Yeah! And then it winds it up with self-talk. Here's where that maps to. Those steps map to your self-image. So when you can take those proper steps on a consistent basis, you will build your self-image. When you build your self-image, you can go and come as you please, and you live life on your terms. And if you don't want to live life on your terms, get out of the way. Because you're taking up room, and you're taking up oxygen. Because this is a special trip, whether you guys realize it or not. This is a special trip. Woo! Maddie, how much time do you have?
Where are we at?
How much? 20 minutes? So, one of the things I want to talk about how much your why is so powerful as human beings. So, my ex-father-in-law, who I'm still close with, was First Force Recon in Vietnam. Okay? Yeah. That's someone that served. How about those eyebrows? That's a real deal, right? First Force Recon in Vietnam. If you're not sure who they were, Robert can back me on this. Their life expectancy wasn't days, wasn't weeks, it was hours. Understand, they were 4 to a group, maybe 6. They would go in first and radio back and say, here's what we need to do. He was detective organized crime in New Jersey State Police, 30 years. I'm still pissed that I can't get him to write a book. It'd be a goddamn movie. This guy's life was unbelievable. He's fighting cancer right now. I'm still really close with him. Great man. But here's when I realized how powerful your why is. And what you're able to do when that why means enough to you. Are you ready? Yes. Are you ready? Yes. So I'm sitting with him one day. I said, you know, I was in my late 20s. I said, Jim, you know, I always wondered, as a man, what would I do in wartime? See, I never served, so obviously I was never in wartime. As a man, you wonder, right? And my dad was 82nd Airborne in World War II. And they adopted me when they were in their 40s. So I was raised by World War II generation. That's a badass generation. I wouldn't change it for the world. So we're talking one day, and I said, Jim, you know, I always wondered, how would I handle what I do? You know, he just looked at me, he goes, you'd be fine. I don't know. Because number one, I know who you are, I know your character. He says, but number two, he looked right at me, and he says, you don't do it for me. You do it for him. I What won't you do for your kids? What? Nothing. You understand when you tap into your why, it becomes fucking magical? And if you don't want to tap into your why, please get out of our way, because you're taking up room, and it's crowded enough. 15 sucks. It's crowded as shit. Okay? So you're taking up room. So that's when I realized how powerful your why is. I know we got about 15 minutes left. I'm going to talk about perception. Life is about perception. How you perceive it is how you live your life. And we talked about this earlier. Life makes the rules, correct?
Yeah.
Life says you have the ability and the option to perceive it any way you want. And guess what? More breaking news. When you build your self-image to become bulletproof and you don't give a shit what other people think, you can perceive it any way you want. And here's why. Here's how I live my life. Let me share this with you real quick. I live my life with intention. Okay? Here's what I mean by that. Here's how you beat that bully of what other people think. If I use a word or a sentence that offends you, but my intention is to give back, and it's pure, that's on you. I can put my head on the pillow now. Now, if my intention isn't pure, that's a whole other person, that's a whole other animal. When your intention is pure, you live your life on your terms, and you sleep like a baby. Get it?
Yeah.
Perception. So, I told you I was very, very blessed at 18 months old to be adopted by two amazing people. And when they adopted me, they were in their middle 40s, late 40s. So they were 2 generations ahead. I just turned 51 September. They're still 51. No love, no love. I'm not shocked. And my mom had 2 miscarriages, so she couldn't have kids. So they adopted 3 children. My brother was 10 years older than me, my sister was 5, and I was the youngest. So I know nobody that I share blood with. Okay? And my dad and me couldn't be any polar opposite. It took him 45 years to stop shaking his head this way, and start shaking his head this way. He worked for 82nd Airborne, World War II, 18 years old, got drafted, grew up in the World War II era, if you're not sure what that is. He came home after 4 years of being over in Europe, in his house, in his mom's house, in the kitchen in Philly, row home in Philly. He's 2 days home. 7 o'clock in the morning, he's eating breakfast. She comes downstairs, she goes, "What are you doing?" "I'm having breakfast." She goes, "Why aren't you working?" "I don't have a job." She goes, "Finish up your breakfast, don't come back until you get a job when you want it." So he started stocking shelves in the supermarket down the street. Get it? Yeah. Lace up your boots and get to work. That's how I was brought up. I'm very fortunate, because I believe it's the closest thing to an immigrant mentality. And here's why the immigrants win. You ready? Here's why that generation won. We're saying 2 things. 2 things, the dynamic duo. Gratitude and hunger. Gratitude and fucking hunger. Get it? Yeah. That's the dynamic duo. If you want to win in life, gratitude and hunger. And I underline hunger. It's misused and it's so goddamn watered down that people don't even know. Most people don't even know what hunger is. And quite honestly, that's why people ask me, "Don't you coach?" I don't coach. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm not here to sell you a membership. I'm not here to sell you a coaching thing. I don't do that because most people don't know what it's going to take to actually do it. To give you a little bit of background, I've built and sold 3 companies in 3 different industries over the last 20 years. Never graduated high school. They told me I wasn't supposed to win. Also crashed a few into the ground. But most people don't know what it's going to take to get there. And I don't have the time to waste. Because I have limited time if I live a full life. So back to perception. So my dad worked for Conrail, the railroad, for 30 years. The man was, when he gave you, he did everything right. I'm not even kidding. Everything he did right in life. That's just who he was. His word was gold, and it was just expected. That's who he was. He was a man's man. He took care of his family, and he always did the right thing. That's why he shook his head for 45 years like this with me, and then finally shook his head this way. And we were so polar opposite. And my mom, well, she was as crazy as I was. Thank God. And she got me. And we had a connection. And she showed me unconditional love. And I never, ever, ever guessed whether we shared blood or not. That's the unconditional love she shared with me every single day from 18 months on. So now, I came out here in 2008. I finally talked him in. These are World War II vets, born and raised in Philly. When I talk about California, so I finally got them out here in 2013. Got them in a retirement community in San Marcos. Spent some amazing, amazing times with them. Now, let's rewind the clock a little bit. If you ask me how I would be if I lost my parents within 4 months of each other, how would that be? I would say, I don't know, but I can tell you, I would probably be devastated. So, Black Friday, coming up after Thanksgiving this year, will be a year that my dad passed. And February 9th will be a year that my mom passed. Okay? And let me just share this with you. They were together 70 years. I watched somebody die of a broken heart. Get it? I never knew what that meant. I watched somebody die of a broken heart. They just called it a stroke. But it was misdiagnosed. Make no mistake. So, life is about perception. Okay? So my dad got diagnosed. They went back to New Jersey for a month. Came back. I picked him up at the airport. I could see, man, he just wasn't himself. Never, ever, ever, did I say ever? Ever complain. Never. Because he grew up. His first house was a house outside of Philly that had no indoor plumbing. No indoor plumbing. Get it? Yeah. No indoor plumbing. So those winters, oh man, it's a cold toilet seat, huh? Woo! That'll wake you up. So we found out that he had throat cancer. In limited time. So my other two siblings are back east. I'm here. I'm with them. And I've always been home base for some reason. They lived with me and my ex-wife at my last two houses in New Jersey. We built they just came to live with us. So I've always been home base. So through all this journey, it's just, I don't know what it was, but there was an energy that came across me through this journey with both of them. Now, before we took him to the hospital, okay, I'd be with him, and we'd just be talking, and we'd be hanging out, and I'd leave, and I'd look up at the sky, and I'd be like, why do I feel this way? This feels amazing. This feels amazing. I don't know why, okay? So now, it's starting to get worse. He can't swallow the whole bit. We get him in the hospital, and we're just waiting. So the doctor comes in and says, look, here's the diagnosis. If we have to, he's a month away from his 92nd birthday, okay? And the doctor says we can go in with a tube, and we can do this, we can do that, or we just go natural. So he says to the doctor, sitting up in his bed, 92-year-old World War II vet, 82nd Airborne, badass. He says, I came into this world naturally, and I'm leaving this world naturally. The doctor, step back. I'm literally behind the doctor. He looked at me, he says, I don't know if I've ever heard that. I said, he's a badass. Get it? So, through this journey with him and my mom, 1 week into her 91st birthday, she passed. But through all this, my dad's in the hospital for a few weeks. She sleeps every night on the couch in the hospital. Every single night. 90-year-old woman, this tall, baddest human being on the planet. Baddest human being on the planet. So, I had some major gifts given to me. There's not another word to use that through this journey that I had with my parents. One of the biggest gifts was we're getting ready to bring him back in hospice. We're getting ready to get him back home because he would not pass in the hospital. He goes, no, we're not doing that. He goes, I'm gonna go in my own house. And he wouldn't even let a hospital bed in. He goes, I got my own bed. I don't need your bed. Oh shit! And you can't raise the bed. I mean, I'm doing all the heavy lifting. So we're getting ready to bring him back. So I get my mom settled in the house, and we're only a few hours away to get him in with hospice. And I can feel something was wrong. That something was off. Now this lady's been sleeping at the hospital. She's just drained. She's just done, right? I can feel something's wrong. I go, Ma. I go, you okay? She's about this tall, 100 pounds on a great day. She just looked at me, and she just grabbed me and started to cry. And she held me like I'm holding a football, right? And then she looked up at me. She goes, I'm sorry. I said, are you kidding me? I said, did anybody earn that? I said, you did. So I said, I got you. I looked her in the eye and said, I got you. And she looked at me. It was like a little kid, a little girl. And she just goes, thank you. And the relief off of her face when I told her, I got you, was an amazing gift that not every child gets. Get it?
Yeah, I got it.
So now, get her settled in. Go back to get him from the hospital. Honor is a son of a gun. It's me and him in the hospital room. Now before this, one of the major gifts I got from him was throughout this, when I get ready to leave, he would put his hand out and he'd say, you're a good man. For a son, that's fucking gold.
Yeah.
Get it? Not everyone gets that. Get it?
Yeah.
Okay? The other gift. So we're in the hospital room, getting ready for hospice. And it's just me and him. And I said, hey, I got a question for you. He's got everything hooked up to him. Go ahead, question for me. I go, this doesn't have to leave this room. This is just between me and you. He looked at me and says, what? I said, you're 92 years old. I said, do you have any major regrets? He looked at me, down on the floor, and looked back at me and goes, no. I go, you won. He goes, what? I go, you won. He looked at me and go, you won this thing called life. You made it to 92 years old on your terms with no major regrets. I will sign that contract today. Give me that contract. I will sign that today. And he looked at me and he smiled. He goes, I guess you're right. Talk about a gift that not every child gets. So looking back, okay, you have a decision. You have the option to look at your life and look for the gifts, or look for the problems. Either way, life says, we don't give a shit. You decide. You want to be a victim or you want to be a victor. Your decision. Thank you so much.
happened over in London for all these community, for the big community of people on Snapchat. Have you heard of this thing called Snapchat? Okay. So I'm on Snapchat, and I'm going through the feed there, and I see this one young person, and I'm talking to him, and I said, what do you do for a living? And he comes back to me, and he says, I'm a Snapchat content creator. And I said, I'm getting too old. I'm getting way too old for this stuff. Then, have you guys heard of Lively and Musically and all these other streaming apps that are out there? Yeah. Okay. Well, our next speaker is a social media influencer who has mastered the art of all these different live streaming apps. But he also has an incredible, inspiring story to tell about things that he's had to overcome in his life to get where he is today. So he practically needs no introduction. I mean, he when he streams live, there's like millions of people watching him and engaging with him. He's a master at this. We are so pleased and honored to have him here. Please welcome Austin.
Yeah! Woo! Check, check. Awesome. Let's give it up for Dale one more time. That was awesome. Cool. So, my speech is going to be a little bit different. Today, I want to show you how to market yourself as a speaker. Because of live streaming, I get to go up on stage and talk to you. I'm also a marketer. So this speech, I want lots of interactions. We're going to got an hour. I'm going to go through a lot of information, ask questions, and I love it. All right? We're going to talk about we're going to wait until the presentation comes up.